Welcome to the Master Cars Pro channel. Today we will talk about the problems and weaknesses of this wonderful car. We are starting with the power units as usual. The stock engine and turbo engine are representatives of the infamous Prince series, which even with high-quality maintenance need to be overhauled by 250,000 kilometers. The main reason for the rapid failure of the internal combustion engine is considered to be a tendency of cooling of oil channels. It is manufactured by oil burning. The problem is aggravated by a weak oil pump. Reducing the level of lubrication in turn leads to accelerated wear of the phase control system, which is already quite problematic. Among the unreliable ones are the vacuum pump on the brake booster, the terminal which is fraught with a breakdown of the intake camshaft and a break in the timing chain. Against this background, such troubles as the current filter and valve cover, the short life of the engine supports, the electromagnetic coupling of the water drive, the thermostat and lambda sensors look like a mirror thruple. The timing drive here is a chain, as an atmospheric chain with a tensioner serves is about 200,000 kilometers, but in the turbo engine, this replacement will be carried out every 150,000 kilometers. Engines of the EV 1.8 and 2.0 series are considered one of the most successful. With a rare update of the lubricant, the ventilation system and the jets are quickly clogged. As a result, the intake is polluted and leaks appear, which finished off the tips of the ignition modules and the starter. The throttle is prone to cooling. After 200,000 kilometers of mileage, the ignitions start to take a little oil, but with high-quality maintenance, they do not require repair of the piston up to 500,000 kilometers. The 3-liter ES9 engine is also quite reliable, which, like the engines of the EV series, painfully tolerates the use of low-quality fuel. In addition to the modest resource of injectors, ignition elements, lambda sensors, and a tendency to crease leaks, it is worth noting the use of unaccessible plastic cylinders, head covers, and cooling system turbines. After 150,000 kilometers, the catalyst begins to pour, the particles of which are drawn into the piston with all the ensuing consequences. The main malfunctions of diesel engines are caused by the use of bad diesel fuel, which rapidly disables fuel injectors, glow plugs, ATR valve and fuel injection pump. Often, the cause of equipment failure is caused by failure of the electric pump in the tank and a leaky fuel supply line. Cars with a mileage of more than 100,000 kilometers have oil in the intake, but the number and reasons are different. The main culprits, the turbine and the oil separator on the valve cover. Errors caused by under or over-inflating turbines are also considered a common ailment. On cars of the first years of release, the crankshaft pulley often failed. Among the operational shortcomings, it is worth highlighting the complexity of the design of these engines, which is why not every service takes the repair. The 2.7 motor is also quite good, among the disadvantages of which are expensive and very gentle C-Air Siemens piezo injectors, and the weak chain located between the camshafts. The 3-liter diesel engine, like the weaker units, is quite difficult to maintain and has fuel equipment that is sensitive to the quality of diesel fuel. The engine reserves often exceed 200,000 kilometers. Motor 1.6 DV6 DET4 is very rare, but it is for the best, since it is the most problematic in the line. In addition to the typical diseases of the solar internal combustion engine, this engine regularly fails the pneumaxizer, the camshaft comes are crumbed, and the chain is prone to stretching. Refractory washers and the fuel injectors also have a short service life when they burn out, and wells are strongly cooled. For owners who save on maintenance, the list of problem areas is replenished with a turbine. After 200,000 kilometers, there is a risk of catching burnout of pistons and corrosion of cylinder liners. The list of transmissions includes two mechanics, the 5-speed BA4 BE4R and the 6-speed ML6C, the 4-speed automatic AL4 DP0, and the 6-speed AM6, which is better known as the ASIN TF80SC. A robot was available for the European market. Manual transmissions in general can be called successful since breakdowns in them up to 250,000 kilometers are very rare. The main disadvantage of the manual transmission is the tendency to grease leaks, with a decrease in the level at which the wear of synchronizers and bearings accelerated. The disease is characterized by the appearance of extensionist sounds from the CP. The 6-step adds problems to the 2-mass flea heels, which needs to be replaced closer to 200,000 kilometers. But a set of the original clutch is not very successful here and can be asked for a replacement without having served even 100,000 kilometers. It is also possible to note the lack of adaptation for operation in harsh climates. In severe frost, the cable of the gear selection mechanism freezes, but the 4-speed automatic is difficult to call successful. One of the main disadvantages is the use of a small heat exchanger, which is why the box is prone to overheating. Exceeding their permissible temperature negatively affects the life of plastic and rubber parts of the box, the wear of which leads to pressure surges of the lubricant, its leaks, and other troubles. With critical heating, the automatic transmission can fail the hydro-block, which is already difficult to call successful. If the box does not kill overheating closer to 150,000 kilometers, will replace the solenoids, bushings, and cylindrical plain bearings, acting as seals. It is worth nothing then when the bearings wear out, the pressure decreases and the oil pump has to work at the maximum. Other disadvantages of the gearbox include a tendency to leak, the unreliability of the electronic control unit, clutches, torque converter, needle bearing, and brake belt. The resource of the box to the capital, even with a careful operation, rarely exceeds 200,000 kilometers. Шестиступка is more successful and with proper maintenance up to 200,000 kilometers does not require special attention. From the side of the locking piston can deform when overheating. It is worth noting that the presence of deformations leads to uneven wear of the clutch, friction, leaning, and its locking. In general, the suspension is reliable except for shock absorbers, which can begin to leak after 60,000 kilometers. Approximately the same amount can withstand the rare silent block of the front suspension levers and stabilizer consumables. The lower ball bearing go 100-120,000 kilometers. The upper ones can last more than 150,000 kilometers, but because they turn sour in the aluminium housing of the pin, it is problematic to change them. The rest of the suspension parts can withstand about 150,000 kilometers. The maintenance of the rear axle is expensive, since there are 7 silent blocks on the side, plus a composite camber level, the balls of which are prone to souring. In cars with hydro-automatic, the above problems are added to the tendency to corrosion and leakage of pipers, high-pressure pumps that supply fluid to the hydro-stocks. If the tumbles flow in the places of rolling, you can try a re-install them. After 120-150,000 kilometers, the hydrosphere becomes unusable. On the same run, the suspension level valve and the PHI hydraulic control unit may fail. The rail here is quite reliable, but with age, you may still need to replace the bushings. The amortizer pump also serves for a long time, but the steering consumables were not so hardly steering tips, go a little more than 60,000 kilometers, traction 100-150,000 kilometers. The mechanical part of the brakes is reliable, but the electronics often spoil the nerves. The main sources of trouble are the ABS sensors, the brake pedal contact switch, the electronic parking brake gearbox, and its motor. You can also note the unsuccessful tips of the cables. They are wrapped in the area of the caliper. The paintwork of the body, like most modern cars, is thin. It does not differ in resistance to external factors. The most susceptible to damage are the windshield frame, hood, lower part of the doors, and sills. There are also problems with the stability of the LCP in the area of the racks of side mirrors and door handles. If the attachment of the windshield moldering is damaged, there may be problems with the intensity of the paint at the points of contact with the racks. Much worse is the situation with the durability of chrome parts, which after 3-5 years lose their presentable appearance. The quality of the assembly and finishing materials does not cause any special questions, although it is worth admitting that the quality of finishing is slightly better for press-styling copies. There are no complaints about the wear resistance of finishing materials, which even after 200,000 kilometers retain their marketable appearance. The only exceptions are the cabin equipment control buttons and plastic inserts of the steering wheel. Well, if you are the owner of this car, then please describe the problems that you had to face during the operation of the car. Perhaps it is your feedback that will help viewers when choosing a car. I am done. Thank you all very much for your attention. I'm very grateful to you if you subscribe to this channel. See you soon.